everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most brilliant tactical masterstrokes in military history. A story that perfectly illustrates how clever thinking can triumph over brute force. It's a tale where one side had all the advantage east, a high ground, superior numbers, and fortified position. They were confident, maybe even a little arrogant. They believed their position was unassailable. But they forgot one crucial detail. Warfare isn't just about who has the higher hill. It's about who has the smarter strategy. The story centers on a commander, let's call her Elara for our tale, who found her forces pinned down at the base of a heavily defended mountain range. The enemy, perched high above, could rain down fire with impunity. A direct assault would have been a death sentence. A reckless waste of life. Her own officers urged retreat, arguing that the odds were impossible. But Elara saw something they didn't. She wasn't looking at the height of the enemy's position. She was looking at the asterisk. Angle asterisk. 4 weeks. Her scouts had been mapping the terrain, not just the obvious paths, but every ravine, every cliff face, every hidden crevice.
While the enemy watched the main valley, confident in their dominance, Elara was piecing together a puzzle.
She noticed a series of seemingly insignificant ledges and rock formations along a sheer cliff face, routes so treacherous that the enemy hadn't even bothered to guard it.
They assumed no one would be foolish enough to try.
This is where the genius comes in. Elara knew that a conventional army couldn't make that climb, so she didn't use a conventional army.
She handpicked a small,
elite unit of her most agile and experienced soldiers, mountaineers, and climbers who were as comfortable on a rock face as they were on flat ground. Their mission wasn't to launch a full-scale attack. It was something far more subtle. They were to carry a few key pieces of equipment, ropes, pulleys, and several disassembled light artillery pieces. Under the cover of a moonless night, this special unit began their ascent. It was grueling, terrifying work. One slip would mean a silent fall into the abyss. They moved slowly, meticulously, securing ropes and hauling the heavy metal components of the cannons piece by piece.
The enemy above them slept soundly, oblivious to the danger, scaling the very walls of their fortress.
By dawn, Elara's team had reached a small, concealed plateau just below the main enemy encampment. It was a position the enemy never thought could be occupied, let alone armed. Working quickly, the soldiers reassembled the light artillery. They didn't have the firepower to wipe out the entire enemy force, but that wasn't the plan. Elara's objective was precision, not annihilation. As the sun began to rise, the enemy commanders gathered on their scenic overlook, sipping their morning tea and looking down on Elara's seemingly helpless army below. And then it happened. A shell screamed upwards, not from the valley, but from the side of the mountain. It slammed directly into the enemy's command post, creating chaos and confusion.
Another shell hit their primary ammunition depot, setting off a chain reaction of explosions.
The enemy was thrown into utter panic. They were being attacked from an impossible direction. They couldn't see where the fire was coming from, and they assumed a much larger force had somehow outflanked them.
Their chain of command was shattered.
Their morale evaporated. That was the signal for Elara's main force in the valley to begin their advance. What should have been a suicidal uphill charge became a swift and decisive victory. as they pushed against a disorganized and terrified enemy. Elara proved that the greatest weapon isn't a sword or a cannon, but the human mind. The enemy had the heights, but she had the angle. She redefined the battlefield and won an impossible victory through sheer ingenuity. It's a powerful reminder that when faced with an obstacle that seems insurmountable, sometimes you just need to look at it from a different perspective. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.